What's up, guys? All right, here's investment talk number 2. All right, same thing I said for number 1. This is the way that I view my collection. This is how I collect. This is how I spend my money in my hobby for my books. This is not necessarily the way that you should do it. This is meant for educational purposes only, just to give you an idea on how somebody does their collection. Other people do their collection other ways. You're going to see guys that only invest in, say, the golden age and the silver age. You're going to see guys that only invest in the copper age, and then you're going to see a lot of the new guys that only invest in modern comics, right? Me, I do things a different way, right? But I'll show you guys what I do, and then it's up to you guys to see if you like it or if you don't like it. Some people may not like what I do. I expect that to be the case, actually. I expect people to be upset about some of the things that I'm going to say about the golden age also. But if they even make it through the video, really, But the key thing, in my opinion, is to not throw a lot of money into the hobby for investment, because you're setting yourself up for failure down the line. You should, in my opinion, invest 10% of your savings income into the hobby. That leaves you 90% of your savings income, right, to do and place in other places. I like stocks. I also have a portion in bonds. There's certain things that you can do that, and I'm sure you guys even do it already. I'm sure there's a lot of you guys that are into great investments like real estate. I'm sure there's people out there that do even Bitcoin. I've never gotten into the Bitcoin, let's say, because I believe what Warren Buffett says. It carries no intrinsic value, right? Comics do have intrinsic value, right? It's something that you can hold in your hand, you could see, you could touch. Now, you can't necessarily tell where this book is going as far as price, right? But it has intrinsic value to you because it's right here, it's in my hand, right? Now, there's channels that you've seen for books that they'll sell you like a share of a comic book. They talk about a company, I forget the name of the company, but they'll buy a comic book and they'll sell a share of the comic. I am not into that type of ideal, right? Because they're holding the comic, you're holding a share. They're trying to make this like the stock market, in comics should not be treated like the stock market. It's a totally different animal. You have guys out there talking about, sell on the news. Well, that's what you might do on the stock market, and that might work for you in the stock market. In comics, it might not work for you so well. Somebody sold on the news for Blade to me for $100. I bought that book. It is now a 9.8. All right. How well did that go for them? Sell on the news. I made big mistakes on selling on the news, right? Of course, yes, I've talked about it, that I needed a roof, but I sold 2 Amazing Fantasy 15s on the news, right? Selling when actually the book was actually dropping because people were selling on the news, and I saw it drop, and I figured I can get those books back again. And guess what? All of a sudden, they just started creeping back up, and I didn't have the funds to recoup them. And then when I did have the funds, I didn't want to pay extra. I didn't want to buy high and sell low, you know what I mean? So I missed out again, right? And that was the biggest mistake of my life, is to sell on the news. That roof ended up costing me today probably around $70,000, and we don't even live in that house anymore. But anyway, the bottom line is this: comic books, different animal than the stock market, no matter who tells you that. All right, no matter who tells you that. All right, in my opinion. Okay, so I created 4 tiers here. This is, again, the way I see things. And I could have created 10 different tiers, all right? But I wanted to make it as simple as possible for you guys. So I'm going to go over the tiers, and we're going to go over some of the books that are going into the project. And this is, I'm mainly doing this investment video because of the Keeper project that I have for 2021. And it's probably going to span a couple of years, this Keeper project. But we'll see if maybe we change it up for next year, you know. So let's look at the tiers. All right, now, as far as investments, guys, look, the other 90% of your, you know, of your funds, and I'm saying savings, right? But because you want to be diversified, right? So this is the way I diversify. So I have 90% of other stuff, only 10% into comics, let's say, right? But I try to make whatever I have in the comics, I try to use that income from the books that I sell to buy other books. But I still end up spending more money every year into acquiring more books, and that's where the 10% comes from, because I don't sell enough to really crack that much of a profit, if I even crack a profit at all. Okay, last year I did not crack a profit into the comic book aspect, because I bought so many books, and some of them ended up being losses, and I'll show you guys the biggest loss. One of the biggest losses that I'm going to have this year, and I already know what it is, right? But all right, so let's go into the tiers. Speculative tier. Okay, this is a tier we're going to be staying away from. The only tier out of the 4 that we'll stay away from, only for this project. Why? Because it is the riskiest tier. All right. Even though it's the tier that can give you the most return on investment. All right. What is the speculation tier? I'm going to rename that speculation. Mostly but not exclusively held by Modern Comics. And the reason is because you can find speculation characters in every age, you know, but the farther you go down, the more you're going to be paying for that book, because the less of those books exist. You know, there's many obscure characters from the golden age that are not used anymore today. But if you go back and you look at the prices on those books, you're going to be paying more money for them today, because those books are rarer now, you know. You're talking about books that are now 80 years old in some cases, you know, 70 years old, or it's something that you know, you have to really think about when you're talking about speculation. Should you or shouldn't you? The modern age is what can give you definitely the most return on investment, because you pick up a $4 book in a couple of months. It might be an $80 book, depending on what you get. You know, you get something like Department of Truth for $4. 6 months later, you're selling it for $40. That's 1,000% return on investment right off the bat, and you only waited 6 months for that, right? All right. All comics with non-established characters, any non-established character is speculation. Okay. Established character appearances with a type of speculation expectancy for that particular book. So say a comic book cover with Miles Morales wearing Nikes, or the MJ dunk. It's an established character, but we're collecting it for the cover. That's really what that is, right? Now, comic books in any age, right? How many covers exist in any age that are iconic? There's going to be iconic covers all over the place. Again, I go back to the Golden Age. Golden Age covers in the Golden Age are so nostalgic, right? People really collect. Most of the Golden Age that they collect are cover work, not so much the content, because in the superhero comics of that age, the content within the comics was very cartoony, and even a guy like Will Eisner, he used to say that comic book writers weren't respected because they were writing funny books, and people, probably used to make fun of them, back then. So that's why he made his content, especially in the spirit, for young adults and mature content in some of the time, but he made it serious situations in his sequential art. But yeah, I really like speculation comics, as long as you're purchasing, making the right investments, right? So instead of going for the 1 in 100 variant, if you're collecting moderns, go for the cover A. It's a much better investment. Spend the $4 versus $100 on a variant. And if the book, pans out, you take a book like this, right? Boom Studios is going to be doing something with this soon, and this is the first comic book that ever came out of Magic the Gathering. This is a Copper Age book not too many people know about. I have $7.50 roughly invested in this particular book. So I would say that this is a pretty decent spec. A spec is just a spec. It's just speculation. Thank you to Mr. Talavera for this one. All right. I'll give you an awful speculation book. Now, this is something you guys warned me about, comics exposure, right? I ordered the 2 1 in 100s from them. They sent me 2 1 in 50s. I emailed them. They have yet to email me back. And this was a very expensive book for the time. This is going to be all lost, guys, even if they send me the 1 in 100. 600,000 print run is what I'm hearing now. The only good thing, if you could even call that good, is that Boom Studios has allowed local comic shops to return any books that are unsold, and they will refund them. But no, that's going to be a massive loss, right? And then that's one of the reasons why we're staying away from this tier. Any book that is solely being bought by the speculation community whose intention is for profit over collectability. All right, so you take a book, like Berserker probably, but more, let's say a book that everybody is really hyping up right now, the Young Avengers, right? In my opinion, the Young Avengers is being collected, not even collected, is being bought by speculators mostly. I don't know anybody that's a fan of the Young Avengers. Anybody. I don't think, I've never heard somebody say, man, I love Hulkling, or Iron Lad, man, I want to dress up like Iron Lad this Halloween. I don't think I've ever heard that or will ever hear that. Or Wiccan. All right. In my opinion, that is something that's being solely manufactured by those guys that bought a whole bunch of books, and they're looking to unload them at a particular time when the book reaches a particular price. I don't believe that their intention is to hold on to those books. When someone's intention is to hold on to those books, that's when you will see that book will have collectability. But I'm not convinced on the Young Avengers, even though it's probably going to rise even more because they're going to keep hyping it. All right, this tier has the highest risk, as the collector's interest has yet to peak on these properties. So, yeah, we're staying away just because of that, even though in any age it will give you the most return on your investment. Case in point, right? Back when I picked this up, we're going back to real time when I picked this up, right? It was a spec book at the time. This was a spec book. I picked it up, read it. Well, actually, I picked it up. I saw the cover, loved the cover, picked up one copy, took it home, read it. Loved the concept, right? I loved the fact that this guy's power set. I said, you know what? I got to have more of this character because I've never seen a minority with that type of power set, ever. It's a guy that could take on the major heavyweights and then it was a Marvel comic on top of that. Went back and, bottom line is I went heavy on this book, and return on investment on this is astounding. It's something that it beats and trumps any age of investment that I would have done in 2009. If I would have went and bought a Final Fantasy 15, right, in 2009, even for 1/5 of that price of Amazing Fantasy 15, right? I wouldn't have gotten the same type of return that I did from these books. I'm talking about the return, right? Percentage wise, guys. All right, you take a book like this, Hector Ayala. This is a book from the Bronze Age. So it's the first appearance of Hector Ayala in a comic book. His first real appearance, however, in comic books is in a magazine. It's Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 19. But this is the book that I have my particular nostalgia with because I got this book from the old man, but it's not in great shape. I beat that book up and I ended up seeing this in my comic shop auction a couple weeks ago, and it was going for a dirt cheap price. So I picked it up. This is a speculation comic book because he's not really, Hector Ayala is nobody that people know. Oh, and by the way, guys, Hasbro, who owns the intellectual property of Magic the Gathering, along with a whole bunch of other properties, by the way, including the Power Rangers, is making moves. They are making moves in entertainment and in comics by joining up with Boom Studios. And, yeah, their properties, man, they just have a really good prospect, in my opinion, to become something huge. So I would highly recommend this one at the current price that it's on. Magic the Gathering, the Shadow Mage, all right? There's still quite a lot of these at very, very low prices. You lose $7.50 or even $10. I mean, pick one up and make sure it has that Oop, I don't want to bend that book, man. Make sure it has that trading card in the back. Okay, here is another one. This is another book that you guys might know what it is. I know for a fact Mr. Talavera knows what this is. Okay, and this is Niobe's first appearance. This is the new this is a Comic-Con edition. Does it say what Comic-Con this was here? Nope, it doesn't say what Comic-Con, but it's a third printing version edition. I bought this straight from Strange Comics, and it was signed by the three big boys there: Sebastian, Joshua, and Mr. Daryl May. I mean, beautiful, beautiful. This is a book that I hope ends up being great, because if this book ends up being a great book, then that means that Mr. Sebastian Jones is going to be very successful in the future, you know. And not that he isn't successful now, but this is the guy that I root for. But this is a very expensive speculation book, which I'm happy with, by the way. Very happy with. I've yet to read the hardcover yet, but I'm going to. All right, let's go to the next tier, the value tier. All right, so here we're going into the tiers that are going to be in the Keeper project. Again, this is the way I see things. Okay, what is in the value tier? Well, it's undervalued comics that have established characters. Key word is established right there, okay? With relatively modest fan base or cult following. Now, it could be high fan bases, by the way, but generally these are modest fan base or cult following. The risk is flat on these comics because the value of these books are or have been flat for a long period of time. The good thing is that this value has held fast due to the solidity of the characters. The great thing about this tier is that negative news on the properties do not decrease their values much or even at all over a significant amount of time. On the contrary, positive news may or will cause these books to reach the growth tier in a hurry, which is the next tier. Okay, so what's that mean, right? What that means is that this book is undervalued. This book has not gained in price significantly in a very long time. Now, this particular book right now, and I'm going to be showing them based on how I've acquired them. Okay, Forever People #1 was the first one that I acquired in the value tier, right? And this one actually cost me in a 9.4 $576.31. Those prices are including taxes and shipping to me. Any fees to me is what that price includes. Now, this is already CGC graded, and it could incur more fees to me if I decide to regrade it, right? Or if the slab comes back like broken or whatever and I have to regrade it, then obviously I'm gonna incur more into that book for having it re-slabbed. But Forever People #1 at a 9.4 for $576.31, and this book hasn't really it really hasn't changed that much in value in the past 2 years, I would say, right? It started going up. This was actually a dead book for a long time, you know. It started going up about 3 years ago, I would say. So it had high growth for about a year, and then it just peaked, and it has stayed there pretty much. right now with the movie coming out where Darkseid's going to be in it, the Snyder Cut, it's starting to pick up again, but it's not picking up much, you know. So I still see this as a very undervalued book. 4 villains, remember that, guys. 4 villains that are keys in all of comics. And that is one of them right there. Darkseid, the Joker, Doctor Doom, Thanos. You choose who goes where, right? For me, Thanos, Ra's al Ghul are 1 and 2, right? Then you'd put the other 3 in whatever order. But I know for a fact that Ra's al Ghul is not in everybody's list. You know, he just can't be. He's on my list, but Ra's al Ghul for me is the 5th guy out of those 4. But those 4 have to be in the top 5. Those 4 have to be. And this is his first full appearance. I have talked many times about this book on how I hate that cover. This cover is the cover that I like the most, but this is his cameo. But this is the money book. This is the money book. However, go figure, I got this in a higher grade, and I can't stand that cover, man. That cover is superbly cheesy, okay? But this is, when all is said and done, the first full appearance of Darkseid. One of the great ones. One of the great ones, guys. All right. It's so undervalued. That book should not be at that price, and I'm glad it is, because now I own it at a 9.4, and I might get some more of that at those prices. This is another book that I picked up in the value tier. Now this one I could have probably put in the growth tier, okay, but I put in the value tier because I don't think it has peaked. I just don't think it's peaked. Now it's starting to move up. Now this has started to move up only in the past, I'm going to say 2 months. You know, this particular book, Raw picked it up 266.56 in February. I'm going to incur more costs in it because I'm going to slab it. First appearance of Boba Fett, real appearance of Boba Fett, but it is in a magazine. And as we saw, this is also the first appearance of Yoda and Lando. And yeah, me likey. I do happen to have this in a 9.6 already. Hopefully, man, this looks like a sweet book. So I don't want to jinx myself, but I do like this buy. I love this buy. All right, we'll go to the third book. This is a new book. All right, I bought this one on the 8th of March with taxes and fees, $468 even. This is Marvel Premiere number 15, first appearance of Iron Fist from 1974, and it is a beauty. It's a freaking beauty, man. It's freaking awesome. Bought this baby on eBay, and I do not own this. I did not own this. I know I owned it. I own it now, but yeah, obviously this is going to get slabbed. And here's a book that I call a value tier because, look, does Iron Fist have a huge fan base? I don't believe so. In my guesstimation, I'm going to say no. I think he has a smaller fan base. I think he always has had a small fan base, but he does have a fan base. Why did this book was actually much higher than what it was before, but because of the Netflix show and people didn't like the actor, this book took a severe hit. So sometimes you have to take advantage of that. because you know that the character is a solid character. So I don't think this is much of a chance. This has very little chance, in my opinion, to drop in value. So I call it a, especially at the price that I got it at, and the potential of the grade that I'm going to have on this book. It's an undervalued book, you know. All right, let's go now in the value tier. You can put, I mean, so many books there. The most undervalued book, and you know what? I'm probably going to go after it again, even though I have a few copies of it. DC Comics Presents number 26, one of the most undervalued books in the market. It has been so for the past, 10 years, right? That book hasn't gone anywhere. But that book has the first appearance of the new Teen Titans. Great team, right? Established characters. Now they are established. Raven, Cyborg. I mean, who would you rather see? I mean, do you even know Hulkling or Cyborg? Iron Lad or Raven? I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. The growth tier. You know, one last thing about that value tier, though. Majority of my books are probably in the value tier. I like books that are highly undervalued, and it's because I like when they start going up in value, they just shoot up, man. They shoot up. I've been waiting on New Teen Titans number 2, the first Deathstroke, for a long time to shoot up. It hasn't, but I know it will one day because he's just a tremendous character. Lobo, the guy is, I mean, you're talking about a guy with a huge fan base. Lobo and Deathstroke have an absolutely huge fan base. But yeah, it's like, I think it's I don't know why those books don't take off, and both of these guys are, you know, are they real villains? I don't think they're both real villains, you know. Lobo is just Lobo. He's what he is, man. He's the main man, you know. And Deathstroke, he's one of the smartest men in the world. A lot smarter than Amadeus Cho, by the way, guys. A very annoying character. Why is Amadeus Cho probably worth more than Deathstroke, by the way? The guy can throw a pebble and make it ricochet 20 different times and knock you out with it. Okay, because his mind is making the calculus moves and stuff. You still need skill, dude. All right, I don't think you should have the skill. I don't think the your smarts give you skill to actually hit what you're aiming at. You know, does it? I don't think so. You know. Anyway, he's just an annoying character that I hope goes nowhere. But good luck to you guys collecting him, alright? Alright, growth tier. These comics are established keys. Established, right? Established keys or first appearances that are flourishing and whose characters are still growing in their fan base. These books still carry high risk in the short term due to the high amount of speculator activity, which has been created by the rapid growth rates. Any media coverage, whether series, movies, or comic related, will drive their value sharply in the direction of the news. The good news is that because the characters are established, these books have the expectancy to regain or even reach new highs over time. There is no tier here that carries zero risk, all right? But the highest risk definitely is that speculation tier. This growth tier, though, does have risk because these books are taking off, right? If I would have bought that book during this, I would have called this in the growth tier, right? Because of the way that it's just skyrocketing. And it's skyrocketing because of the cult following it has and the fact that it has a very limited print run. But I wouldn't say that he is an established character with a solid foundation just yet, because I believe that it's a lot of speculators that are into this run right now. But he does have his cult fan base, and I happen to be one of them, as you guys know. All right. But I think because of the limited amount that's out there, as speculators are putting him out there and selling their books, that cult fan base that doesn't have that book yet is starting to pay for this book to keep. So a lot less of these books will become available. Because I didn't purchase this during this project, I'm not putting that in the project, but I did purchase Something is Killing the Children. Now, is Erica Slaughter an established character? She only came out in 2019, so it's been less than 2 years since we saw the birth of Erica Slaughter. I'm going to tell you guys this, why I believe she is established, right? Now, there's a lot of the majority of her books, I think, are being collected by speculators. How do you know this? Because every single printing that goes to a store gets sold out quick. Those are speculators that are buying up those issues, guys. Yeah, there's collectors buying them up too. There's certain issues that I obviously want to have and stuff, but I think that the fact that her trade paperbacks are selling out shows you that the community is reading her books. And that's why I believe it's an established character, because the trade paperbacks have no value yet. As soon as they put out a trade paperback version, she sells out. It sells out. I've waited for 3 times already because the paperback sold out, and I don't want to read my books, so I want to read the trade paperback. So yeah, it took me 3 times to get the trades. 3. That tells you that people are reading the book. It's not just this is not a book that's going to go away. You know, I do believe that they're going to stop eventually. The speculators are going to stop collecting those special covers, but how long is that going to take? I would say invest in the number one issue. Only 50,000 print run, and the entire print of the number 1. That's where you should be putting your money into, in my opinion. Okay, when all is said and done, everything reverts back to the origin. Okay, and possibly the lower prints. You know. All right, let's go to the next tier. The blue chip tier. The blue chip tier. Now, I put this out outside of Holy Grails. I was not expecting to get a Holy Grail out of this tier. However, I did get a Holy Grail. And it's not going to be what you guys think, but every age has its Holy Grails. Every age. And the modern age has Holy Grails as well. We're going to go into that. First thing about a blue chip tier: solid foundation. It's the most important thing. These books have a history of growth spanning over their lifetime. These books will generally grow at a slower rate than other tiers, but have historically lower risks. These are the books preferred by older collectors or investors due to the longevity of sustainable growth with minimal long-term decline. These are your safer investments. Now, when I say safer, however, you always have to invest wisely. Okay, just because it's a holy grail, you should not be overspending on it. Okay, if I go out and I buy a Hulk 181, I'm going to just say like a 5.0 for $10,000, that is an awful investment. Okay, you want to buy this at good prices, no matter what the Holy Grail is. Amazing Fantasy, if I go out and I purchase an Amazing Fantasy 1.0 for $50,000, I just threw away a ton of money, you know. So just be smart. Know the prices of these books before you go out and buy them, and try to get good deals. All right. Is Amazing Fantasy number 15 out of 1.0 one day going to be $50,000? Probably, but that doesn't mean you should pay now for that and wait for that price 50 years from now to take place, or 20 years from now, let's say, or whatever, right? Try to get that book for a great price, below or right at the market price. There are certain books in this tier, though, that are peaking, or have peaked and are getting new highs. A lot of books, actually, as a matter of fact. We'll go into some of them. All right, but let's go into the Keeper Project. And I hadn't bought a book yet, but I bought 3. Okay, I bought 3, and I'll show you guys the Holy Grail. It is not the first one, even though the first one is a beautiful book. Terrific Comics number 3. Paid for that baby $906.31. The seller had it for $1,100 and change, almost $1,200. It would have cost me, if I would have paid by it now, over $1,300 because of taxes and fees. But ended up costing me $906.31. Here it is, guys. Terrific Comics number 3. This is an absolute beauty. Only 8 of them exist in the world in CGC senses, and one of them is restored. So this is one of 7 not restored. Universal grade. The 3rd highest in the CGC senses at a 5.5. And the 2nd cover ever by Mr. Leonard Hildenbrand Cohen. After his father changed his name, he changed his name as well to Leonard Brandt Cole. And if you don't know who he is, this guy was Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane of the Golden Age, or rather, Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane were the Cole and Zella of their generations, Schomburg. So I always thought that this was his first cover, but it's not. Ends up being his 2nd cover. 4 Favorites number 13 is his first cover. Suspense number 4 is his 3rd. All of his books are expensive, though. but some of them are way out of my league, you know. So I am happy to have this one. And this one you will not see. You know, anytime these sell, it definitely creates a log because they don't, because there's so little of them. There's not that many of them. Collectors don't really sell them. This same book sold in 2016 for $431. You know, I bought it for $906. So I figured it was a good deal for me. That book you will not see. Let me show you the back. You will not see back again in the market unless something drastic happens to me where I need the cash. But you will not be seeing this back in the market. I will look for raw copies of that probably and see if I could slap them. You get a raw book though in the golden age, a lot of them are going to probably be restored. You know, I'd love the fact that that's universal grade in that condition, and I will keep it away from UV light because I don't want that or any of my books really to be damaged by sunlight. The next book, Brave and the Bold, number 54, raw. Bought that one for $257. Okay, on March 8th. That is this baby right here. Oh, I showed the all right, Brave and the Bold, 54. This book is from 1964. This is the first appearance of the Teen Titans, considered the first Teen Titans appearance. I did not own this book, and I was hoping to get maybe a 5.5 in this. Not sure if I'm gonna get that, but it's still, I don't want to take it out of here. I already took it out, but I don't want to take it out. But you know what the hell, I am gonna take it out just to show you guys. I see the back. It's got a lot of wear in that, a lot of staining in that back. Hopefully this doesn't come back restored. That's not restoration, by the way. That right there was kept in like moisture. But this is typically what you will see in a lot of the Silver Age and Golden Age. It's very, you know, especially the interior pages, very basic art, and a story that is always lacking, almost always lacking. Look at that. Look at the ads. But yeah, the reason that, you know, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby did so well and did go in Marvel is because they wrote for adults. That's what Will Eisner did with The Spirit. You know, when he wrote for the adult audience. You know, he wasn't looking at books as cartoons. He was looking at them more of, he wanted his fan base to be adult or young adults, you know. And but there is no denying that this is significant because this is the first appearance of the actual Teen Titans. All right, so we'll go to, you already saw what the next one is, and this is the last one, the latest one. This is a Grail, and don't let anybody else tell you that this is not a Grail, because this, my dear friends, is a grail in a holy grail in the modern age. Yes, I said it. Holy grail. That's for all you golden age guys out there. Every single age has holy grails. 20 years from now, people are gonna look at that book still and say, damn, I wish I had it. Even though, unlike other holy grails of, say, the golden age or the silver age, yes, there are a lot more Amazing Spider-Man 300s than there are, say, obviously your Action Comics number ones. Let's get away from that one, but let's say Amazing Fantasy 15s. Of course, there's, a ton more Amazing 300s, right? But we're talking about a fan base that is worldwide. It's not even US wide, it's worldwide for Amazing Spider-Man 300, and everybody knows what that is. I actually found this in the raw, in the wild, man. I found this in the wild. I found it a couple of days ago. $350, guys. Oh, I wish I could have taped it. But this is a beauty, and it is, yes, it is, my guys. Yes, it is. I wish I would have taped it. I have a really, really good shot at this, guys. It's a beauty. It's an absolute beauty. I have bought, sold, and slabbed this book. I've definitely slabbed it at least 50 times. I sold I sent my personal already. I sent my personal copy already to get graded, and Mr. Kendra has it right now. And this one is going to be going out as well. I don't even think this needs a pressing. I really don't even think this needs one, man. But I'm going to send it out to him just for the hell of it anyway. I want to make 100% sure, and I trust him dearly for it. With it, I was not expecting to get a Holy Grail, but I got one. Okay, I got one. Modern age. This is obviously from the Copper Age, but modern, Ultimate Fallout 4 is if you don't think Ultimate Fallout 4 is a holy grail, and I don't own the A cover. I thought that it was too expensive, right? And this is what I mean. Like, you don't have to go out and spend $4,000 for this book. Now, can a holy grail or any book go down? Yes, they can. Fantastic 448 has gone down I've seen it gone down at least 4 different times. And what happens with Fantastic 448, and why does it go down like that? It's because all the Fantastic Four movies suck, right? And then, but what happens? It just recovers. It recovers and it reaches new highs. Even Hulk 181 has done the same thing, right? It goes up, comes back down, goes back up again and reach new highs again. This book has done the same thing. It has, but it always comes back up. Now, will it drop again? I do expect the drop. I expect to drop probably after the Venom movie. It'll probably go up again when they start doing, I don't know what the ceiling, but there is, for Holy Grails, there probably is no ceiling for Holy Grails, but that doesn't mean you should go out and overspend on it. Be smart, guys, be smart. What I don't like seeing is valuation that is or might be stimulated by outside sources. So I like stimulation being stimulated by collectors, not by speculators. And is it sustainable? Maybe not for the short term, but I do believe that if you can find this at a great price, like I did, and if I found it for that price, guys, you guys can find it for great prices also. By the way, that price right there, I sold a 9.0 for, man, $400 last year, so why has it increased so much? A lot of speculation, a lot of people thinking about it, but the fact is that Spider-Man, the fan base for any Spider-Man property, and especially Venom, especially his iconic characters, Amazing Spider-Man 238, same thing, Hobgoblin, right? Tremendous fan base. You get Spider-Man with it, the entire world. Yeah, 500,000. How many are in great shape? How many are in say 8.5 and aboves, right? Not that many. Not that many, guys. Not that many. Even if you have 20,000 in that range, is that a lot? Not for the fan base. Not for that fan base. That's where you have demand and quantity and demand, right? All right. So let's look into other ways of investing into comics. All right. So the basic way to invest in comics is this: you read the book. If you like the story, you like the character, then chances are there's somebody out there that's also gonna like that character just like you do. And that's a good indication if you like that story. I wasn't a believer of, I came in late for Something's Killing the Children. I came in a couple of months late. I heard about the book, but I didn't want to go into it because it's an indie book, so Boom Studios was not an established company at the time, and it was a new company, and I just don't like getting into stuff like that. But I picked up issue number 1, read it. I said, man, this is pretty damn cool. And I decided to get going heavy on it. It was a few issues in already. Picked this one up and I read it and I liked it, and yeah, I mean, those ended up being great specs, right? That's not to say that that you can pick up a book and be it a good story and maybe other people don't like it. I don't know where this is gonna go. Let's say this is Fear Case number 2, right? But I love the story. I freaking love it. I see the reviews online for other people that have read it. They're mixed, but I love it. So if I love it and I see the potential in this, I actually went heavier on this. And why? Because it is a very cheap book. It's cover price or less when I'm buying it. So yeah, I'm speculating heavy on Fear Case, but the only problem with Fear Case is that it doesn't have a specific character, like say Something's Killing the Children. The character, the main focus on that is the case. The case is the one that you look at because the case is the one that moves from time to time. So when they end up making a movie on that, and I'm telling you there will be a movie on it, it's the case. The case, not the characters. That would be the important thing there. But besides reading, if you know nothing about comics, or if you want to learn more, if you have money to invest, you pick up the Bible for investing, really, the official Overstreet comic book price guide. I picked out two of them because I wanted a difference of 15 years. So I picked up the 2004 guide, right? Which I had in my collection, by the way, guys. This is just a tool. These are tools that even speculators should have, and investors, all right? And this is the 2019. I did not pick up the 2020 to 2021, but I don't pick them up every year, but I pick them up every other year, or I'll go a few years sometimes without picking one up. 15-year difference between 2004 and 2019. But we're going to look to see what was hot back then. So, Golden Age books, right? Back then. And we'll look at returns. Action Comics #1 was $440,000. You fast forward 15 years, Action Comics #1, $4,200,000 in 2019, almost a 10% clip. I mean, a 10-time clip, 10 times, almost 1,000% on your return if you were to have to go and sell it. All right, let's go to Marvel Comics #1, $330,000. Marvel Comics #1 here, $720,000. It's still #6 though. Okay, $720,000. That's more than double your money, but in 15 years. Now, the reason I'm showing you guys this is because we're going to compare the Golden Age top books, right, with the top books in other ages. All right, we'll go to Human Torch #2. This is actually Marvel Comics #2, right? And then that's why they call it Human Torch #1. But that one is $72,000 in 2019. In 2004, it was $44,000. So from 44 to 72, it's I'm gonna say what, a 70% gain, probably right around there in 15 years. Yeah, it's good, but is it great? You know, there's reasons why I'm doing this, by the way. Let's take a bigger book, right? This is actually, I mean, these are all holy grails, okay? Detective Comics 27, $2.8 million in 2019. Detective Comics 27, $375,000, right? That's what, 800% clip, probably, right? My math might be off a little bit. I did not do it. All right, let's get another one. Wonder Comics #1, $45,000 in 2019. And Wonder Comics #1, where's Wonder Comics #1 here? Wonder Comics #1, $21,000 to $45,000, more than doubled in 15 years. Okay, all right, those are just some books, right? Let's go fast forward over to the Silver Age. Amazing Fantasy 15, the big boy of the Silver Age. In 2019, $405,000. 42,000 in 2004 for Amazing Fantasy 15, and this is near mint minus prices we're looking at, guys. 42,000 to 375,000. That's comparable to Action Comics #1 and Detective Comics 27. Incredible Hulk #1, however, okay, we're gonna go Incredible Hulk #1. 23,000 in 2004. Look at this, man. Look at this. 285,000. That blows all the percentages out of the water for any Golden Age book. Okay? Any Golden Age. And this, you find it in the Silver Age. Showcase number 4, $160,000. And showcase number 4 here was 41,000. And that is a what is it, 41,260, 400% clip. You know, not bad, not bad. X-Men number 1. Look at this one too. Look at this one too. X-Men number 1, 57,000 here. X-Men number 1 was, where we at? Why can't I see it? Oh, I thought, duh. That's why I can't see it. X-Men number 1, 13,000. 13,000 to 57,000. Guys, I mean, there's returns in every age. Every single age will have great returns. Okay, let's go to the Bronze Age. Bronze Age, the big one. Incredible Hulk 181, $1,250 in 2004. $5,000 in 2019. All right, more than 400% clip. Giant size X-Men. You know what? I'm going to stay away from that one because that just started going off this year. House of Secrets number 92, $800 then. Okay, House of Secrets 92, 3,200 in 2019. 15 years later. All right, another 400% clip. Okay, Star Wars number 1. Look at this one, guys. Oh my gosh, look at this one. $800 back in 2004. 15 years later, 11,500. That's a book from the Bronze Age that just leveled every age, except for Hulk number 1, of course. But this is leveling everything. Like Action, what was a better investment? Action Comics number 1 or Star Wars number 1, 35-cent price variant? That was probably around 1,500 is what's estimated that there were of that book. Okay. Yeah, there are values in every single age. Every single age has value, guys. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Let's go to the Copper Age, okay? Copper Age. Now, Copper Age, I'm only doing a couple of books, but let's go to the main bad boy here, or at least one of the main bad boys. Two of them. We'll go to two of them, because they're in the same rank, in my opinion. Amazing Spider-Man number 238 in 2004. We're looking at $90. $90 in 2004. And we're going to look at Amazing Spider-Man 300 as well. All right. And it was valued also at $90 in 2004. Fast forward to 2019. Amazing Spider-Man from $90 to $375, and 238 from $90 to $170. Now this year 238 is once again catching up to 300. These are two characters and two covers that are iconic, and both covers, in my opinion, are. This one is, I would probably call this one a grail, and this one is a holy grail of the Copper Age. Okay, because both characters are solid, both characters, but You know, the Hobgoblin hasn't been used in how long already? You know, tremendous character, even a better character than the Green Goblin, in my opinion, because he has a lot more depth, in my opinion, than the Green Goblin. He was cunning, where the Green Goblin really wasn't. He was just a psycho, you know, with powers. This guy, Hobgoblin, was cunning. I do not want to see the current actor, that's Ned Leeds, play the Hobgoblin, okay? Matter of fact, Hobgoblin was not Ned Leeds. It was said that he was Ned Leeds, and yeah, Ned Leeds did become the Hobgoblin for a little bit, but Roger Stern did not mean for him to be the Hobgoblin, okay? But anyway, that's another story. But he is catching up this year to Venom, okay, in price. Now this is in a raw near mint minus into 2019 at 375. All right, but look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Check this out. Okay, now from $90 to 375. I mean, we're looking at another 400% clip, more than 400% clip right there. Okay. All right. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh my God. All right, let me see if I can find it here. Teenage TMNT, $450 in 2004. $450. Now look at this. $7,000. 2019. 15 years later. It's almost like an 1,800% clip. 1,800% beats almost any book in any age. Okay, probably does beat any book in any age for that time period. There is value in every age, and how can you not call that a holy grail? That is a holy grail. Gobbledygook, it was the same price in 2004 as well, $450. I don't know if you guys saw it. 6,500 big ones in 2019 as well. Gobbledygook has a lot of fakes. It's a book that was said that had it was easy to print, right? So I would only buy that if it's graded by a proper grading company, CGC or probably CBCS, but I would be more comfortable with a CGC if I were collecting it. I would never buy that raw. It's too much of a chance, and you're going to be paying a lot of money for it, unless you see it like in a flea market or something, or in a garage sale for a couple bucks. It's worth taking a shot. But if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on it, spend it on it in grades. All right, so this is just some ways where you can invest, right? I'm just showing you that every age this is what I'm trying to tell you. Every single age has their grails, holy grails and grails. Anybody who stays away from a particular age because they don't believe that there's any value in it, and you hear this a lot in YouTube, you're stupid to invest in the modern age, because why throw your money in modern books? Yes, the modern age is the riskiest investment. There's no doubt about it. You're going to see me lose a ton of money in this. Ton. I mean, this is almost going to be all loss for me, right? Even though the story is actually a pretty decent story, very violent, very decent though, and this will be a movie one day without a shadow of a doubt. But it was definitely a bad spec now, because it's gonna end up being a big loss. However, then you get books like this, or a book like this, for example, that will probably end up being a great just a great play on my part. A great character, established character, albeit in video games, but still a great character, right? And yeah, I went heavy on this. Guys, I found more. I think I have 50 of these. One of them is going to be going out to somebody here, no matter where you live, guys, no matter where, no matter how far, no matter. Somebody's getting a 9.8, and we'll wait till we get them back, okay? But yeah, no matter where. So Paulie D, you win this. I'm sending it to you, free of charge. I'll even pay the shipping, guys. Why? Because of karma. Anybody, no matter where you are. Pete, you win it. Pete, you better be prepared this time, man. You got it wrong last time. Be prepared. I want you in this. I want you in this. Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom, you better make sure you send it to me on my email, not somebody else's, like you did the last one. All right. Look, guys, this is the investment talk. I think I held you guys over for long enough. All right. Every single age has Grails. The new age, the modern, the new books that are coming out. Something's Killing the Children, Erica Slaughter. That could be a holy grail. It could be. I think it will be. You know. Now, are all those covers gonna be, hot 10 years from now? No, I don't think so. Okay. But the number ones will hold their values. You always revert back to what? The number ones. I don't like the particular age where there's so many variants. Try to stay away from variants and gimmick covers, and I'm doing that now, right? I do like the artwork of the modern age. Don't get me wrong. I like the store variants. I love the artwork. Comics has always been about art, and there are covers that hold their value with art. Silver Surfer #4 or Hulk 340. Almost all the books that hold their value in the golden age are great art covers, right? Majority of them is because of the covers, not because of the content, right? The Schomburg covers, the L.B. Cole covers. So the question really is, all right, is your Frazetta cover or your Elias cover, is that a better cover than, say, a cover by, Jim Lee or a cover by McFarlane? And that's two different eras, right? And I could pick John Gallagher, for example, who makes great covers, or Jenny Frison or Jen Bartel. Which one's better? It's art, man. It's art. So the only thing is, golden age, it's more nostalgic, and those artists are not going to draw anymore, unfortunately. So they have value. But as far as investing here, look, the last thing I'll leave you with is, be careful to specking on a character based on movie or series news, because a lot of times those don't really pan out. If you have, you're specking on a particular character because of a movie. So there's the Spider-Man movie right here, right? So a lot of people spec on, say, Cindy Moon, right? She might make an appearance. Supposedly she's gonna have an actor play her in I don't know if it's gonna be a series or a movie. I'm not sure. There's a lot of rumors, right? Cindy Moon, I think she has some spec value. But say Agatha Harkness, Madam Web, You know, when I was picking up Amazing Spider-Mans back then, Madam Web was an afterthought. Never thought about, hey, should I collect Madam Web ever? And the thought never went through my mind. Uh, the Prowler. The Prowler, I didn't even find him a cool villain ever, you know. But a lot of people went after him because he was Miles Morales. When Captain America lifted Mjolnir, a lot of people went after that book, Thor 390, I think it was. Malekith and Curse, because they were in the Thor movies. And you know what? I actually liked them better in the comics than I did in the movies. That was awful. Ultron, you know, Avengers 54, that has had absolutely zero interest in after that Avengers movie that came out, the Avengers 2, you know, for Ultron. We're looking at Red Guardian right now. A lot of people were going after him. Red Guardian, you know, Love Sausage is a better character than Red Guardian ever will be, in my opinion. You know, Amadeus Cho is an annoying a-hole. Why would anybody even want to consider him as a valuable character? Eagle, Living Planet, people went after him also. Eagle was a decent villain. You can only use him every now and then, if that, and there's only a few characters that can go up against him. He's okay. Nothing, you know, that I would say, hey man, I gotta have that first appearance, you know. And then now everybody's specking on Mephisto. Well, Mephisto, he has been in some decent storylines. He has. I'm not gonna lie that he, but as a collectible character, is he really? You know, he gets smacked around, but almost everybody he goes up against, Silver Surfer, Thor, all smacked him around. Thanos smacked him around. Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing 274, even Spider-Man got a little licking in on them, you know, and Zarathos. And then, of course, you have the great loser of them all, right? The greatest failure, you know, in a character that ever lived, Kang. You know, here's a guy that comes from the future. Now check this out. He comes from the future, so he knows how he can win, because he's coming from the future. He can see the past. He saw the history in the past. He comes back to the past, and he gets smacked around by the Avengers or whoever the hell he goes up against. He is a perennial loser. That's what the guy is. All right. So in the closing sentence here, it's just 2 words. Be smart. That's really all I could say. Like, be smart with your money. Don't overspend. Look for value deals, and you will find them. They're out there. Have a good night.